Nice to see you, Chandler. We're here in Kona, Hawaii for the National Association for Plant Breeding annual meeting, and you are taking over as chair of the Borlaug Scholarship Committee. And I'm curious, before we talk about that, you kind of work at the cutting edge of commercial breeding at Bayer. How do you translate what you're seeing in the field into mentorship that actually resonates with students who are entering the space?
Yeah, Bayer's really active in the innovation space. We have a whole unit of people that are just focused on innovation. And the best way for me to translate that is really through our mentorships in industry. So we are working on mechanical harvest and pepper, and Natalie, my design breeder, she's mentored 3 students in the last 3 years. And these interns, it's so exciting. They get to learn like cutting edge techniques and things, in our industry project that is actually happening. It's real. And these are proprietary details that we couldn't share unless they were doing an internship. So that's really the best way that we can share that information. But outside of that, I do work on the Borlaug Scholars Committee. So I mentor students each year. And I'm always open to these discussions, but I have to be a little bit more careful about what I share. So I'm applying to have a mentor at Bayer next year to work on the efficiency of different breeding strategies that we're trying. And I'm really excited about that.
You've been part of breeding programs that sort of live and die based on data, right? What's something that data can't tell you, but experience in the field can?
Yeah, that's a great point, because I do feel like a lot of times my pipelines live and die by data. And at Bayer, I'm really lucky. We have a lot of resources. So there's a team that their whole job is just to collect data. But I still insist on going and visiting every region every year. So I can see the products, experience them myself, and see if what I think of those products matches what's the data is telling me. And usually it does. But the most important thing about those visits is that I'm meeting directly with the farmers. I'm hearing their needs. I can get data maybe through surveys with the farmers or seed dealers, but that data is not going to build trust. It's not going to have conversations about what they need. And maybe it'll help inform me about what products to deliver, but really I can't do my job effectively if I don't know what they need. And I can get that by meeting with them in person.
Now, a lot of young scientists are thinking hard about whether to go into academia, industry, or something in between, right? And what's the most misunderstood part of working in a company like Bayer, and how would you explain it to this next wave of Borlaug scholars?
I think a big misunderstanding that even your question is highlighting is thinking that once you go into industry, you're stuck there. You can't pivot. And so when I'm mentoring a student, I encourage them to take the best, most exciting offer, even if that ends up being an industry and they want to do academia or vice versa, because you should really go with what's the opportunity that's open to you and figure out what you can learn. And then you can always pivot later. You can grow, and maybe you realize that actually you do want to be in industry, or actually you do want to be in academia. And I think it's good not to limit yourself by what you think you want, and go ahead and experience something.
Now, talking about Borlaug's scholarship specifically, what's one lesson from Norman Borlaug's legacy that you think maybe we're in danger of forgetting? And how do you plan to keep it alive in your work and through the Borlaug Committee?
Yeah, Norman Borlaug, he spent over a decade in Mexico working on wheat production there. And not only did he work on a technical side, but he picked laborers from the field that he was going to give education to build up a team of breeders and not just do it by himself. So I think this international collaboration is really important, and not just from the U.S. outwards, but outwards to the U.S. So I think that NAPB is doing a great job in this space, but you really have to be intentional and put resources and time. So I do think that there's a potential to forget the importance of this, but thankfully right now, I think we're really focusing on that. And the Commercial Committee and the Borlaug Scholars Committee are working together to expand the scope of the Borlaug Scholars Program to be more international. So this year and over the next 2 years, they are sponsoring 6 students in Africa to come to NAPB, and then also for those students to go to the African Plant Breeding Association meeting. And I think that's a great first step. And I shouldn't be saying this because it's not happening yet, but I think that that program is going to be expanded to other countries too. But we do have to be intentional in getting the funding for that.
Before I let you go, if you could redesign the entire education pipeline to sort of better prepare students for the future of plant breeding, where would you start?
That's a big question, but I would start with communication. When I was a graduate student at the University of Georgia, the two best classes that I took were seminars on how to give a research seminar and just a more general communication seminar for a layman's audience and an audience of researchers. And that class was so tough. It was so tough that I almost stopped at a master's so I wouldn't have to take it a second time. But I'm really glad that I did that because it's helped me so much in industry, like having to convince a farmer to take a chance on a new product or influence another team that I work with that, hey, we should really focus on this project. I know you have a lot of cool things, but let's do this together. So you really have to be able to influence people inside work and outside of work. And I know that's true in academia as well. So I don't think I would add more technical research work, but that, even though that would be great, I think I would really focus on soft skills like communication and influence.
Thanks so much, Chandler.
Thank you, Mark.